Increase our faith. Increase our faith, O Lord. How many times have you uttered that in your hearts or in your prayers? How many times have you thought in the night, if only my faith were stronger, if only I had more faith? I am sure there's been a time when each of us has wrestled with the question of our faith, wondering if we had enough to endure whatever we might be experiencing at this moment in life. Perhaps we've had a crisis of faith and we'd wrestled with doubt, wondering if everything that we've been taught to believe is true, right? And wanting to believe, say, Lord, if only I believed better, if only I had more faith. If I had more faith, I could believe more fully. If I had more faith, I could see my way through this trial, through this dark period. If only I had more faith, I could be healed. Longing for more faith. I think we all experience this at one point or another, but I want to remind you, perhaps tell you, that the faith you have right now, you have been given a sufficient amount. Dare I say it, given enough faith. Because even a little faith has incredible power to transform our hearts and our lives and indeed our world. When the disciples ask, Lord, increase our faith, he says, if you had faith the size of a mustard seed. The size of a mustard seed. If you've ever seen one, they are itty bitty. They're so very tiny. You can barely see these little seeds. This weekend, Desmond had a little planting kit from the Bell Museum. He was planting basil seeds, and you could barely see those basil seeds. So when we're talking tiny, just a little bit. If you had just that little bit of faith, think of what you could do. Jesus says to the disciples, if you had just the smallest amount, you could say to this mulberry plant, be uprooted and planted in the sea. Now, that might be a hard sell. Maybe we don't have the faith to believe whether we could do that, right? Maybe we wonder what our faith is really capable of. Maybe my faith alone isn't quite enough, but my faith with your faith and your faith, well, then that starts to change things. Because when your faith is joined to my faith, joined to your faith, then we're really starting to plant. Then we're really starting to do things. When we work together, when our faith comes together, right, then the impossible becomes possible. When our faith is joined together, we can do incredible things, and we can overcome incredible things. So think about those moments when you've been in crisis or your loved ones have been in crisis, whether it be health, financial, personal, whatever it is. Your faith alone might not have seemed like enough, but with the friend beside you, with the family member next to you, well, then all of a sudden, you have been given enough. Because their presence, their love, and their prayer strengthens you and empowers you and encourages you. And what seemed impassable becomes passable. What seemed insurmountable becomes surmountable because you have been strengthened by the faith of other people. Because we don't do this alone. God does not intend for us to go through this life alone. God does not intend for us to live a life of faith alone. God intended for us to go together, to be together in life and in community and in faith. Because alone, maybe I can only do this much. But together, we can do all kinds of things. This is true in your own lives. It's true in the life of this congregation. I think the St. Mark's Foundation is a great example of that. Because I guarantee that started out as a tiny little seed of a thought, of a dream, right? Of a hope. And that little seed, that little hope, that little dream for our community grew and grew and grew. And now 40 years later, it's touched how many lives in how many different ways. And it started out like this. What are the hopes and dreams that you have for this place? It might seem like a small little thing. It might seem like your dream, your hope is too little. But in the right circumstances, with the right people, watering and nurturing and planting seeds around yours, who knows what that can grow into? Imagine what we can do together. We might not think that the seed that we have is big enough to make an impact. We might not think our faith is big enough to make an impact. We might not think the gifts that we put in the plate are big enough or have an impact. We might not think our little prayers make a difference, but they do, and they matter. They matter, and they are good, and they are enough. As Paul says, God did not give us a spirit of cowardice, but a spirit of power and courage and boldness. You have been given a faith, not of cowardice, but of strength and of power and of courage. And all those things, they become multiplied and magnified when you surround yourself with others who share in that hope and that dream and that courage. To be a little seed planted in a field, to grow and to blossom and to flourish into God knows what. So think about the seed that you've been given, that faith, which may at times seem just too small, but it's in fact so big. The faith that you have been given, that good deposit that has been entrusted to you, that is enough. That'll get you through today. That'll get you through tomorrow. That'll get you through those dark times, through those heavy times. It's enough. You've been given enough. And if it feels like it's not enough, stop and remember all those seeds that have been planted around you, all those other people whose faith encourages you and strengthens you. Remember that. We have been given enough. Indeed, we have been given more than enough. And your faith can get you through every day. Amen.